Gabe Roberts is now available. First question is from Alanna Rizzo. Go ahead, Alanna.
Dave, can you tell us a little bit more about the move to recall Zach McKinstry for the first time in his young career?
Well, it was just more of Zach's with us, getting coverage. Eddie took that ball off the foot, x-rays negative. Came in today, said he feels good. But just having that extra position player depth, Mookie obviously don't have his bat available. So we just felt that with the pitching we do have, to send Victor out, who's been good for us, and I expect to see back at some point, it just seemed like the right decision, and I'm excited for Zach.
With Mookie, do you really believe that the 4 days, including tomorrow's off day, is going to be sufficient enough to potentially get that bat back in there on Friday when you guys are back at home?
You know, that's the hope. You know, and I'm not certain today. I think today, from what I understand, he's going through his regular routine. So that's a positive thing as far as swinging the bat. I don't know how much, I don't know if he's going to take batting practice or not. But with the day off tomorrow, the hope is, to get him back in there. But if it doesn't happen, then we'll just adjust.
One thing about this organization is that they really value the versatility of players, and Zach McKinstry seems to have that versatility to his game. I mean, he's, made his way into the conversation in summer camp. What are you most excited to see from him?
Well, I think first and foremost, getting a big league at bat. We'll see if it makes sense tonight. But I think that, you mentioned the versatility, and he's a baseball player. He can play anywhere on the diamond, and he's just really a joy to be around. And he's very smart, good listener. He's observing everything that guys are doing, ask the right questions. So I think the first thing is just getting him that big league at bat.
With Edwin, any additional tests necessary, or I know that you drained the blood there out of the toe, but is there anything else that needs to be done?
No, that's it. Today, he came in moving around good, said he's available for whatever we need.
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, at what point here do you have to decide whether to put Mookie on the IL? I know you guys have some extra spots to work with and sort of a buffer, but at what point do you decide, hey, maybe it's probably best to open that roster spot up?
With the DH, it's not as imperative. I think that where we're at, the extra guys in the bullpen, certainly we're going to have to make an adjustment with the roster come Thursday, come Friday. But I just don't think we're there yet, Mookie.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Dave Vaste. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Dave. I was wondering if you can give us the starters for the weekend.
Well, every guy's going on extra rest, so we would start with Julio, and then it's going to be Walker, Julio, Julio, Kirsch, Dustin. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you got it. No. Sorry, Dave. It's Julio, Kirsch, Walker.
Next question is from Dylan Hernandez. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Hey, Dylan. Good to hear from you.
Good. I'm glad that you're good. It's good to hear from me. Just kind of was wondering, where do how do you see Kenley right now? I know the velocity is down a little bit, but obviously the results have been good. How do you kind of, evaluate his performance so far?
Performance has been good. I still think that there's certainly more in there. I'm not too concerned about the velocity. Even last night, first cutter was just okay. Then he threw a breaking ball that spun, and then after that, the cutter had the life. So yeah, I just think it's just more of just continuing to run him out there. And even before the season, he didn't have too many outings, and so the command's better, certainly better than it was last year at times. And I'm glad to see the performances have been good, but Kenley's in a good place physically, mentally, and like I said, I expect the stuff to continue to tick up.
I'm wondering, after Game 5 of the NLDS last year, when you didn't go to him at the start of the 9th, at the start of the 10th, was there any like fence mending that you had to do there, or was there any conversation that you guys had to have, coming into the spring training or into summer camp or anything?
No, not at all. I think that Kenley, there's a trust from both sides, and even, you've seen a couple times this year where I've had him up in a tie game on the road, and many times over, he's just said, tell me when to pitch and I'll be ready to pitch. So we both understand that all we care about is winning baseball games. So there's certainly, I'm as close to him as anybody on the team.
And just kind of switching gears slightly to Seager. I know recently we kind of talked about the various reasons of why he's, appeared to kind of be locked in and stuff. As far as how hard he's hitting the ball, how much of that is just kind of him getting his like man strength, so to speak? I think we kind of forget sometimes how young he was, when he first got called up.
This is Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, God, he's just really squaring everything up. I think it's, I guess it's the man strength. Also, I just really believe the way that he's running counts now, he's letting pitchers make mistakes, and he's hitting mistakes. He's also hitting really good pitches. But I think the first couple of years he was really, always in ambush mode, trying to get on the first pitch. And, now he's just staying in the strike zone more consistently. And, he's got to be up there in the leaders of, quality of contact this year.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Next question from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Dave, following up on that a little bit. Last night, you said the same thing about seeing a difference in his at-bat quality and the way he's getting his hits. Has there been an effort to get him to, get deeper into counts? He's always been such an aggressive hitter.
Well, he's and I think he's still aggressive, but I think that just kind of understanding what the league is trying to do, whether it's spin him early or get him to chase early, where now he's just being a lot more stubborn in the strike zone. So I know that, the hitting guys have talked about mechanics, they've talked about approach with all of our guys. And, Corey, to his credit, has understanding the league even more, and as a byproduct, running counts, and that's, for me, has led to a lot of this early success.
Your other hottest hitter, A.J. Pollock, you mentioned the other day that physically you see a difference in him on defense. What's the difference in his at-bats that he's having such success?
I think the at-bats are, he's always hit righties and lefties. He's a guy that has some things mechanically with his hands, with the bat tip, and he and Robert and the hitting guys have a lot of trust with one another. And, once he's, we call it being synced up, then he can hit anybody. And, you saw it yesterday with the homer to center field. You saw the line drive, offside, double or single, big hit yesterday off Stanton. So I just think that right now, physically, he's in a good place, like we talked about, and mechanically with these hitting guys, they're in a good place.
You think he mentioned this a little bit, that what he's gone through with his daughter has kind of freed up his mind and, compartmentalize things, and baseball doesn't consume him quite the same way. Do you think that can be a good thing? And what did you hit the first year you became a father?
So I do think it can be a good thing. You certainly miss out on some sleep, but it's a good kind of loss of sleep to see what a blessing it is to have a child, especially what he and Kate had to go through, with Maddie being born premature. So I definitely think that that's a good thing. And also, the coaches, the entire organization was supporting him by way of text, phone calls, throughout that whole process. So I think that was a good relationship building for all of us. In 2001, after my son was born in 2000, I was just okay. I wasn't as good as AJ was, put it that way.
Thanks, Dave.
I have another question from Alanna Rizzo. Go ahead, Alanna.
Dave, Ross going for the third time this season, and as far as your starters are concerned, he's given you the most length, the most depth in terms of innings pitched. What can you say about what he's been able to do, even when he hasn't had his best stuff, but to battle and be able to give that to you? And what other improvements would you like to see from him tonight?
I mean, for me, it's just continue to do what you've been doing. He's a guy with a, fastball, cut fastball, curveball, changeup. So there's a lot of things that he can, throw at you. And when something's not working, he can always, pivot to plan B or plan C. And he's just got such good compete. He's got really good command. He can minimize damage when he needs to get that ground ball, to get the punch. So with Ross, he's built up to, whatever he can go tonight. And we have the off day, so we have a bullpen that's rested. And for Ross, the only thing is just continue to do what you've been doing.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Another question from Jorge Castillo.
Hey, Dave, I did a cursory check here, and Garrett Richards has even splits historically, and Jock's 1 for 3 against him. Just wondering why Jock isn't leading off.
I think he's even to reverse, actually. I think for me, the way that he spins the ball with the curveball, there's going to be Josh's going to get a lot of curveballs, a lot of changeups, and I just want to see him continue to adjust to those. And so I like him in the 7, and the way AJ's swinging the bat, I don't mind him versus Richards. I actually like the matchup. So I like Jock in there, and Jock should have opportunities tonight with guys on base.
And now that you guys have reached sort of the last day of this road trip, a lot of questions heading into it. In retrospect, was this any more exhausting? Did it wear on you guys any more than any typical 9-game road trip in the past?
No, it's actually no. I don't think so. I think guys may be a little bit stir crazy because you can't get out. You don't really want to get out in Arizona at 116 degrees. But here in San Diego, guys like to walk downtown. Can't do that, so guys may be a little bit stir crazy. But I haven't seen any kind of frustration from our guys. So it's been good, very professional, but we are looking forward to that off day and then to get back home.
And was it just nice to get sort of that longest road trip in these uncertain times out of the way and maybe learn?
It was, because I think that, going into the season, there was a lot of uncertainty. And the first thing, and you hear about other teams going on road trips and kind of what happened. So for us to kind of run the course itself and play it out and see how it logistically works and have success are positive. There haven't been any positive tests from our guys, so they've been really taking it upon themselves. So that's been good to see.
Thank you.
Yep.
Time for one more. Go ahead, Ken.
Dave, with the call-up of McKinstry, there's been a lot of online chatter about why Gavin Lux is being held down, a lot of conspiracy theories about holding down his service time. But for what little we saw of him at summer camp, it looked like he wasn't ready. And I don't know how much you can go into it, but maybe you could give a better explanation than we can of what his progress has been at SC and what you thought of his play during summer camp.
First of all, there is no conspiracy theory with holding Gavin Lux down for any other reason that aside from we don't feel he's ready right now. And we let Gavin know that. And so that should be put to bed. I think that it was a short ramp up for Gavin and he wasn't right mechanically. And he knows that, and we know that. He's still getting there in summer camp, at SC. He's getting at bats daily. It's coming. I see video every single day. Still not there yet, but it's getting considerably better. Zach was on our taxi, and so we're gonna shorten rosters on Friday to 28. So to potentially bring Gavin up for a day doesn't make any sense at all. And we also told Gavin if there is a situation like that with the taxi or something, he probably won't be the guy, and he won't be here until he is the guy potentially playing every day. So that's kind of the thought behind it. So we're happy that Gavin is continuing to get better. He's handling everything like a professional. All reports are good, but we're excited for Zach to get that day one of service.
Thanks.
Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, guys.